And we're back with yet again another update on XRP. Shout out to you guys. The XRP community is showing tremendous amount of love day in, day out. You guys are absolutely amazing. But let's take a look at what's happening with the markets right now. What happened since our last update, which went live earlier in the morning. If we're looking across the board over the last 1 hour, we're starting to see the market pick up a little bit. Of course, we're starting to see some green coming in. Bitcoin has seen a little bit of a bounce. So of course, the market is going to react to that. But in a grand scheme of things, if you're still looking at it in the 24-hour perspective, you're still seeing, quite a bit of red across the crypto markets. XRP price right now sitting at the neckline of the psychological price level, which again is at $2, as we can see across the board. We're also down about 1.7% in Bitcoin compared to now. If you're looking at the valuation, $117.8 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume has pretty much gone up quite a bit since yesterday, currently sitting at $4.5 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Bitcoin demand momentum. New Bitcoin demand drives up. So STH shed 800,000 BTC since May 27th with negative 2 million BTC momentum, the worst on the record per CryptoQuant. So Bitcoin spot demand, momentum is in the most negative on record. And I know a lot of people are going to come out and say, well, hold on, why is this the case? Because of course, a majority of the money that does flow in, from the bigger players, it doesn't get encountered because there's a lot of money coming from OTC. But if you're looking at ETF, volume, yes, it's still coming in. We're still seeing inflows coming in, day out, but you're not seeing it at the level, we have seen in the past. So right now, smart money is still accumulating, but if you focus on who the smart money is, it's usually, bigger asset managers. It's, whales that understand, the scarcity and the value of BTC. And, we have discussed in my last update, what has happened for the crypto space. We are actually being impacted, due to some of the things that are happening globally. That's obviously having a strain on the broader market. But yet you're still looking at Bitcoin holding in the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level, holding above $100,000. That really shows you, where this asset class is really going. Moving forward, though, one of the largest liquidations, of course, $1 billion liquidated in 24 hours, long lost $900 million. The biggest loss was around $36 million, which was the BTC USDT trade on HTX, which again is crazy to think about. And once again, a continuous reminder why we want to stay away from, the likes of leverage trading. But take a look at this, Bitcoin rainbow price chart. So this right here is a chart that, I haven't really looked at for quite some time, but, I wanted to kind of take a look at it in this update. You can kind of see and see a track record for BTC. You can see back in 2013, we had that top, to 1200. And then, of course, the 2017 top at $19,345. And of course, we came into 2021. We didn't really go into that, red zone, but we did come down to this orangish zone, which of course, if you want to put it, is this a bubble or, FOMO intensifies? But, we came down to that range in 2021. Moving forward to this cycle, we're still in, this light blue zone. It's considered a buy zone, pretty much, you could see for BTC, which is crazy to think about because Bitcoin is sitting at $100,000 right now. So we speak about Bitcoin being priced out, and that's clear indication for us right now. So this rainbow chart, do we have more upside to go? Where we see the price of Bitcoin retesting the 100 zone. The orangish zone. If that were to happen, and again, obviously, I'm just projecting it based off of the last cycle. If that were to happen, that puts the price of Bitcoin at a staggering $321,000. Maybe we don't reach that level. Maybe we go up to this range, the green zone. I think the green zone is, something where we could see the top for this cycle occurring, or potentially even, this level. Again, this is just my own personal opinion. Obviously, only time will tell where we'd really go, but it would be around this range, which of course is, around 150K, which a lot of analysts some analysts are even projecting 200K BTC in the year of 2025, which is, again, crazy to think about. Are we going to see a super cycle? We'll know, obviously, as time goes by. Obviously, ETF inflows will really trigger in a lot of money coming into the space. which could mean maybe we do see something like last 2016. You guys can see pretty much for yourself. We went up to the top in 2018 for BTC back in the 2018 top. So could we see this running until 2026? We'll see. I'm still projecting 2025 to be the top for the broader market, but we'll see what happens. But Bitcoin is going to shock a lot of people. It's already doing that, and this chart is something we need to kind of keep a close eye on. But do let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about that. But take a look at this. Angel investor Armando has boldly asserted that the portfolio holding just a few thousand XRP tokens could grow to 2.5. And again, this is not my personal opinion. This is coming from another angel investor, Armando, and of course, not financial advice, just sharing the personal projection. And I kind of wanted to kind of go over this to really take your guys' thoughts on that. So Armando shared that this perspective in a recent tweet, emphasizing that the significance of holding 10,000 XRP tokens. He compared its potential to owning one whole Bitcoin or acquiring 50 ETH tokens. According to him, every financial savvy individual knows the value of holding 10,000 XRP and simply waiting for the portfolio to grow, potentially reaching as high as $2.5 million at the point. He recommends diversifying into even more secure investments such as real estate. Buying 10,000 XRP and turning it into 2.5. So pretty much that would require, the price of XRP to reach a staggering $250 a coin. But look at this, for context, XRP has over 6.5 million wallet addresses. Less than 4% of these addresses hold at least 10,000 XRP. Less than 4%. That shows you the opportunity that really lies for bigger players to come on board. This highlights a significant disparity and how few investors meet this threshold. Again, speaking about being priced out already, so in order for you to obtain at the current price right now, 10,000 XRP would cost $20,000, which again is not what everyone has to invest. Not everyone can afford to lose $20,000, because when you're coming into the crypto space, you need to think that you are investing money that you are affording to lose. You can't be putting your life savings into crypto. That would be the biggest mistake you're making. Do your due diligence, research, and invest what you can afford to lose. I cannot stress this enough. But look at this. This highlights a significant disparity and how few investors meet this threshold. Conversely, over 5 million addresses hold 500 XRP or fewer, indicating that the majority of XRP holders are retail investors, while whales possess most of the supply. So, obviously, meanwhile, Armando's proposition implies that XRP price would need to rise to $250 per token for 10,000 XRP to be worth $2.5 million. This is a staggering increase of 11,101% from the current price of $2.23. A lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, well, are we going to reach that next year? I hope you guys understand this. These projections, this is not that you're going to become, or it's not promised, it's all projections. But I really wanted to kind of share something with you guys here. So if we're taking Bitcoin's valuation, a current valuation, not the all-time high valuation, the current valuation, let's say, Bitcoin in the next cycle, maybe even, we always talk about double-digit XRP, right? That's the main thing that a lot of people discuss, whether or not, XRP is going to reach double-digit. And a lot of people still talk about whether or not, XRP could reach double-digit this cycle. But long term, again, based off of my personal opinion, if Bitcoin is going to be, sitting at the likes of maybe $9-10 trillion in terms of valuation in the future, not maybe this cycle, but next cycle, and of course, with XRP, then let's say it maintains its, level at the top third, and it goes, up with the market. Let's say XRP has the current valuation of BTC in the next cycle, which is $2 trillion currently. That's what Bitcoin's valuation is. That would put XRP with the current circulation at about $34 a coin. And even though this is not the price that people want to say, oh, why is it not the $100? Why is it this? Why is it not that? We don't know. Maybe crazy amounts of inflows come in. Maybe bigger companies in the future. We don't know what the future shows. Right now, we're starting to see some big companies coming on board, raising funds to, obviously obtain digital assets within their reserve. Maybe it becomes bigger, level as we do go into the future. So let's say, more and more bigger entities are coming on board, holding on to digital assets, actually assets that hold, bring utility, actually has that real use case. And let's say XRP does take a massive chunk of, the financial sector, and, a lot of banks, a lot of big institutions start using the XRP ledger. Maybe that could really, bring the price and the value of XRP higher. But with the valuation currently of BTC, if we put that into perspective, that would be a $34 worth of XRP per coin. So let's say you do have 10,000, and we're just hypothetically speaking, 10,000 coins right now. That would be worth in the future $340,000. So regardless of if the price reaches $100, $30, or $250, that's still crazy amounts of money. And me personally speaking, I think I'm very confident based off of what we're seeing, based off of how XRP has held its position at the top third level, year in, year out, for the longest time. And I think XRP could actually take over Ethereum's position in the future, especially with the introduction of, the inflows coming in from bigger players. And obviously, once all that happens, I think we do see in the future, actually XRP becoming the second largest coin. And you can't write it off, in my opinion. And I personally think a double-digit XRP is not something unrealistic. Might not happen this year. I personally don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think we see a double-digit XRP. I think we see, high, like five. Again, I made a prediction last time. I could realistically see, if we do see the parabolic cycle that we have seen in the past, where XRP price has reached the likes of crazy price action, and the way it's holding right now, even though we have seen quite a large drop within the price just over the course of the last 24 hours. Bitcoin did exactly what we discussed. I was talking to you guys about how we will go down below $100,000. That's still on the table, and that's exactly what ended up happening. We went down to $98,000, which is the next support line. We have reclaimed back above $100,000. XRP, of course, retesting right at the neckline of our support, the level we spoke to you guys about. That's exactly where we saw the price of XRP going, and then it has seen a bounce since then. We're currently sitting at $2.01. So XRP is still holding, believe it or not, really, really well, within this range, above this key support line, which is quite impressive to say the least. And I'd say, once you get into the price discovery mode, you could actually see XRP reaching, I wouldn't be surprised if we reach $5 to even $8 within that range. I think it makes sense. Based off of what we're seeing right now, once we do see the price discovery mode, and based off the way XRP is holding, I could honestly see that happening. And this is just my own personal opinion. Obviously, only time is going to tell. But let me know down below what you guys personally think about all the things that we're sharing. Where do you see the price of XRP going? At the end of the day, we're all speculating, but do you think the price of XRP could reach the likes of $100 plus, or $250 in the future? If so, when do you think that? And of course, let me know your overall strategy. How long are you holding XRP for? Is it for the next decades? Is it for the next few years? Let me know in the comments down below. Love you all. See you later. Been Crypto ZX, and peace out.